Okay. We are back. Yo, what's up? Oh, let me get some light in here. My bad. Yeah. Yes, don't tell me I need to go to the barber. My hair is about to turn golden and I'm going Super Saiyan. It's way too long. But that is not what we're here for today. Today, as you can see, we are on the PBE. Uh, yeah. Riot is cooking. Can we just all agree? Riot is finally cooking again. It feels like for 2 seasons there has been nothing. And I mean nothing. All they did was add Atakan and the fucking blood petals, made a bunch of battle passes and skins, right? No runes, no items, nothing. And now we are finally cooking again. Not only did they bring, correct me if I'm wrong, 9 items to the game, 9 new items, but they also changed a few and brought 2 items back. My god, like, there is so much, and believe I got much to say about it. I wrote a bunch of notes down, and I'd say let's just jump into the practice tour, put on the Udyr lo-fi mix, and then I'm gonna yap about items.
Claw and
Let me just make sure I pick a rune that
our journey continues.
doesn't really impact anything. If I'm testing something against a training dummy, you know, I don't want any damage or movement speed to be exaggerated. Or healing, you know, stuff like that. So we take runes that don't trigger at all. Okay. Good. Alrighty. Man, I've been busy. I've been so busy. Right now I'm in the exam phase in my studies. I've just got done writing a 12-page essay, which was fucking torture. Quest selection log? Oh. So, if you don't play draft pick, you have to actually pick the quest you wanna go? Alright. Well, I guess this is the goodest time as any to talk about quests. Yeah, before we get into items, let's get into quests. So, probably the biggest change that Riot added to the game is role quests. Uncle White, what's up? Just turn off the minions, they're annoying. Turn off the music, it's fucking annoying. There we go. So, where's my notes? There's my notes. Role quests. So, as you know, when you play support, there is such a thing as support quest. At the start of the game, you get this item. Let me just hold on. Gotta find a way for my setup to make sense here. Alright. You get this item as a support, and every time you poke the enemy or you share a minion, it gives a little extra gold, and you stack this up until it's 400 gold, and then the item upgrades. Then you collect some more gold and it upgrades again, and these upgrades reward you. Now, this was individual to supports and junglers. Junglers, as you know, we have our jungle items, and once we kill about like 30 camps, it fully upgrades, giving us a stronger smite that we can use against champions. Yeah, now they added on to this. They increased what supports and junglers get for completing their quests, and they added quests for top lane, mid lane, and ADC. So the jungle quest is still the same. We still have our jungle item, and we kill a bunch of jungle camps to fill this up. But also, once we finished our quest, we get bonus gold and experience from large monsters. And we get bonus movement speed in the jungle. And I think both of these changes are great for Udyr. Because Udyr is a champion, depending on the item build of course, that likes to really fucking power scale into the late game, right? And getting bonus gold and bonus experience from your monsters in the late game, that might just allow you to do that. Really just power farm the jungle and make a comeback or like outscale the enemy, right? So this is nice. And the bonus movement speed in the jungle, I mean, come on. This is just awesome. Because you have to think about this. Junglers now have bonus movement speed in the jungle, which automatically means everyone who isn't a jungler doesn't have this bonus movement speed. So let's just imagine you fight at Baron, or you fight at Dragon, or you invade the enemy, right? So you're fighting in the jungle, catching those carries. The enemy AD carry that is trying to kite you, the enemy mid laner, right? They don't have that bonus movement speed, but you do. So junglers, on average, are just now more mobile than any other role. It's just that simple. So as long as you take the fight in the jungle, you're gonna be a lot quicker. So this is an awesome change. This will help Udyr with his mobility issues, and yeah. That's about it for the jungle quest. Now, top lane quest is also interesting for Udyr, since if you don't play him jungle, you probably play him top lane. Now, you can also play him mid lane AD carry support, although wouldn't suggest AD carry, and support in mid lane is pretty hard, but possible. But top lane is definitely his second to go role. Now, what changed in top lane? Well, a lot, actually, a lot. So, when you finish the quest, also, I keep saying when you finish the quest, I'm not going into detail how to finish them, because it's pretty basic. It's just kill minions, kill jungle monsters, get turret platings, get kills. It's just play the game. Literally play the game, the quest will finish automatically. So if you finish your top lane quest, and you picked Teleport as one of your summoner spells, Teleport will then upgrade to give you a big shield when you use it. Also, I think it has reduced cooldown. If you didn't pick Teleport, now this is where it gets interesting. Let's say I went top lane Udyr, but I picked Ignite and Flash because I want to play an aggressive lane. When you then finish your quest, this new slot in this corner here will turn into a Teleport. Which means you literally have 3 summoner spells. You're gonna have Ignite, Flash, and then on the V button you're gonna have Teleport. It's not gonna be the Teleport with a shield, because Riot wants to reward people that actually take Teleport instead of going Ignite or Ghost in the lane. But you are gonna have 3 summoner spells. Now, that is not all top laners get. Top laners also get bonus experience, and they gain an increased level cap. Now, it's kind of crazy. This is like, we've seen this in Earth, we've seen this in Arena, but never in all of the fucking 15 years League of Legends has been around, we thought about having a higher level than 18 in Summoner's Rift, right? There's a lot of stuff that played around with experience and skill points, right? There's the Potion of Skill you can get from the Tonic Rune, whatever the fuck. Then there is Rod of Ages, which also gives you a level up, but not a bonus skill point, just an earlier skill point. Alright. Well, as a top laner, you can now reach level 20. So that means 2 extra skill points. And for Udyr, this is very interesting, because Udyr just loves stats. Udyr loves scaling, especially on the top lane, more in the top lane than in the jungle. Udyr loves scaling, and it's specifically interesting for Udyr because he gets more value out of this than all the other top laners. Because when you level up, you get stats, of course, but you also get a skill point. The thing is, the other champions, they can't level up anything, right? Usually a champion has 5 points in Q, 5 points in W, 5 points in E, and then 3 points in R. but any champion that has more than that, so Udyr, just Udyr I think, gets to benefit way more from this, because we have 6 points in every ability. So once we put 5 points in this, 6 points in that, 6 points in that, sorry, no, yeah, and 1 point in this, we spend 18 points, and then we get 2 more, so we get to like max out W, or put like 2 more points on Q, so we have 3, 5, 6, 6, or we have a 2, 6, 6, 6, right? We legit get more skill points. So top lane Udyr is going to be a scaling monster. It's beautiful, it's beautiful. We're reaching our final form, right? Yeah, anything else for top lane? No, that's about it. Mid laners... the mid lane quest is interesting, but might be a bit weaker than the others. So mid laners automatically get tier 3 boots when they finish their quest without paying for it, right? So they get the boot upgrade that you usually had to pay 500 gold for free, and you get the boots without having to win the feats of war. The feats of war have completely been removed, by the way. You cannot get the upgraded boots anymore. These upgraded boots, all of these, you can't get these anymore. Only here it says there, only mid lane locked till quest is completed. So only mid laners get to have these now when they finish their quest. So you have, if you play mid lane Udyr and you finish your quest, getting tier 3 boots obviously means A, you get 500 gold for free, B, you get a nice utility effect, and C, you have boots that have more movement speed than all the other boots in the game. So again, giving Udyr more mobility than the average player. So this is nice, right? But on top of that, mid lanes also get an enhanced recall. So you know when you take Baron or you take Herald, and then you recall, your recall only takes 4 seconds. Mid laners have that now when they finish their quest. They always have empowered recall the entire game. This is pretty interesting for split push Udyr. Because imagine this, right? You're like pushing this tower and you're thinking to yourself, oh shit, I'm gonna get ganked here. Just stand somewhere where the minions don't hit you, or if you have the time, actually enter a bush and then hit recall, and instead of 8 seconds, it's just gonna take you 4 seconds. If you see the enemy coming, the empowered recall, it's almost like a teleport. You're always going to be able to escape, as long as you don't get greedy. So that's pretty awesome, right? If you're good on mid lane Udyr, you can give this a whirl. Now bot lane quest, I'm not gonna go into too much detail because you're not gonna play bot lane Udyr really. You finish the quest, you get a bunch of gold. Then after that you get more gold from minions and from kills. And you unlock a 7th item slot. So this extra slot that you have, this is where your boots are going to go. And then the 6 slots you have for extra items. I don't know, just kind of stat checky. Supports. Supports don't get a lot because they already have the support quest, and supports are like way too strong, right? But supports now get an extra item slot over here for just control wards. So the control wards don't block their item slots anymore, so this is a nice quality of life change, right? They also gain a discount on control wards. I think they pay half the price, something like that. And they gain increased passive gold, which is pretty awesome, considering this is a role that is only supposed to get assists and can't farm at all, right? So supports having a bonus gold gain is huge for them. It allows them to actually like finish an item build for once. Alright, so that's it for the role quests. Now let's get into the actually interesting stuff. The items. And let's start with the biggest item. When they showed this, I didn't believe it was real. It's a new AP item, and not only that, it's an AP bruiser item. This crazy looking build path is Dusk and Dawn. Now Dusk and Dawn gives 300 health, 70 ability power. I think that's gonna get nerfed to like 60 or maybe even 50 or 55. 20 ability haste, 25% attack speed, so it's a big fucking stat stick. And it also combines stats that are rarely seen together, right? Ability haste and attack speed. It also has a Spellblade effect, since it's built from Sheen. So if you build this, you're not going to be able to build Lichbane. But it might be worth it, because listen to this, right? The Spellblade effect of this thing, after using an ability, your next attack deals 100% base damage plus 10% AP bonus magic damage. So very, very weak Sheen, right? Let's compare this to Lichbane. Lichbane has 75% base AD and 40% AP. So Lichbane will always deal more damage, specifically also because Lichbane gives 100 ability power, while Dusk Dawn only gives 70 and the scaling is better. But this still deals very good consistent damage, and it also has 100 base AD instead of the 75, right? So a stat sticker like Udyr can definitely make good use of this. And also consider that if you play top lane AP Udyr and you build this and you can reach level 20 instead of level 18, your base AD is gonna be higher than usual. Top laners are gonna be able to reach more base AD than they ever had, right? Because you can just reach a higher level. This has nothing to do with items, right? Base AD is always just the AD you get from leveling up, right? But this is not the most interesting stuff about Dusk Dawn. What's really interesting is that this on-hit effect applies on-hit effects an additional time. I don't know if this triggers with itself. Probably not. No, it doesn't trigger with itself, because it's a consumable auto attack, right? But it does trigger other on-hit effects twice. So let's say, theoretically speaking, you build Dusk Dawn, and then you build Nash's Tooth. Nash's Tooth has the effect to deal 28 bonus magic damage on hit, right? As you can see. If I build this and then activate the Sheen proc of this and attack somebody while having Nash's Tooth will then trigger twice in a row. So let's see if I can show this off. See if I can show this off. So if I just have this has 0 magic resistance, right? My Nash's Tooth is supposed to do 30 magic damage. So let's see. 29. Okay, for some reason it only did 29. I don't know why. But let's go. It's probably a rounded up number. Probably my AP has a weird number, so it's rounded up in the tooltip. Let me just level up so this is less awkward to play. Wow, this server's so laggy, bro. You cannot play on PvE. So let's now take Dusk Dawn. We have to consider Dusk Dawn deals 90 magic damage on hit. Nash's Tooth deals 40, but with the Dusk Dawn effect, it will now deal 80 damage. So in total, we should deal 170 damage. Let's see it. Yeah, 130, and then you saw another 40 pop. So it actually shows how it triggers double and not just once, right? There's a 40, and if I trigger the Sheen, 130 and then the 40. There's actually a nice visual effect to it. A little bit edgy, but you activate Dusk Dawn and you actually have like one Dark Fist, one Light Fist. You hit the enemy. Yeah, okay, pretty cool, pretty cool. If they lower the attack speed instead of the AP, that would be nice. Yeah, we actually don't need that attack speed, right? Because Udyr has attack speed through his passive anyway. Right, so we don't really need the Dusk Dawn attack speed. We definitely want the ability haste though. Yeah. But I don't know if they're gonna reduce the attack speed, because this is supposed to be an on-hit item at the end of the day. It's gonna be interesting to see how they balance this. Oh yeah, for sure. But as it stands right now, I think this item is meta-defining and broken as fuck. Like, Gwen and Diana are gonna rush this item every game, and they're gonna be perma-ban champions. I'm not going to see a single fucking Gwen this preseason because I'm banning her every game. I refuse to play against Gwen building this. I refuse. This item's gonna go hard on volley. Oh, for sure, yeah. It double triggers volley passive. It's insane. Yeah, it's pretty great that Riot made a bruiser Sheen item. I always liked the idea of having Sheen on AP Udyr, but it was always too aggressive. Because Lichbane just gives no health. And now they finally made an AP bruiser Sheen item. This is awesome, right? This is awesome. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty. So, Dusk Dawn says that it triggers on-hit effects twice. So what does this mean for Udyr's passive? Because when I activate Q, my next 2 auto attacks are gonna have Claw Stance bonus damage, right? And my next 2 auto attacks are bonus attack speed buffed by my passive. So does it trigger Udyr's on-hit effects? And I think the answer is yes, right? We activate Q, we hit, it shows 0. Both my claw attacks got triggered at the same time. And you know what's even crazier about this? This works with Awaken too, I believe. So if I now use Awaken Q and I hit the enemy once, they're gonna get the entire lightning isolation damage without me having to hit him a second time. Let's try it out, right? Yep, that was both lightnings. That was both lightnings. I hit him again now, there's no lightning. That was both lightnings at the same time. This is insanity, right? Oftentimes, it is awkward to stay close enough to the enemy to activate both our on-hit effects, right? Without Dusk Dawn, you walk up to the enemy, you stun him, boom. You activate Phoenix and you go 1 auto attack, 2 auto attacks, and then you can switch to another stance again, right? If you just stun the enemy, activate Phoenix, hit him once, and then switch to another stance because fuck, the enemy is hitting back, I need a shield. Or fuck, the enemy is escaping, I need to reactivate my E. Then you didn't use your second Phoenix attack and you lost out on some damage. With Dusk Dawn, that's just not gonna happen anymore, right? It's just not gonna happen anymore. There's only one issue, there's only one problem with the Dusk Dawn Udyr interaction. If you engage an enemy, you are usually going to do it with your E. And if our E activates the Sheen, it puts the Sheen on a 1.5 second cooldown right after we stunned. So if we stun the enemy, then activate Phoenix and then attack, it's not gonna have the Dusk Dawn effect. Only the third ability we use in a fight is gonna have it again. So, to put it in simple terms, use E, activate Dusk Dawn. Activate Phoenix, no Dusk Dawn. Activate another stance, let's say Q, you have Dusk Dawn again, right? So every second stance you cast is gonna have Dusk Dawn again, right? So this is something to watch out for. You kinda have to time that. You got the essay done? Yes. Yes, Reki, I got the essay done. That shit was tough. Tough. It's actually like not just a 12-page essay, it's sort of like a research paper. Like I actually had to cite sources and like talk how do you say it, professionally. God, it was so much work. But it's done, yes. I just want an OP item that Udyr uses, lol. Does the extra hit... No. Chili. The Dusk Dawn passive doesn't activate our passive more often. It just activates it instantly, right? So if I use Q and I hit him, it uses both at the same time, right? But if I then hit again, there's no bonus anymore. There's a difference between on-hit and consumable on-hits, right? This is very important to understand if you want to use Dusk Dawn. There's 2 different kinds of on-hits. There's on-hits and consumable on-hits, right? So when you use Q on Udyr, you have 2 consumable on-hits, and as soon as these 2 on-hits are used up, they're gone, right? If you have something like Nash's Tooth, that is a non-consumable on-hit, a permanent on-hit. So this will trigger every time Dusk and Dawn is ready. It's never used up. Okay? You know what I mean? So Dusk and Dawn doesn't help you get your Awakened back sooner. It just helps you get your on-hits onto the enemy at all, because there's going to be times where you get 1 hit on the enemy and then they run away before you can get your 2nd hit on the enemy. And then you sit there with your dick in your hand, you know? Anyway, so yeah, Dusk and Dawn has a very special interaction with Udyr passive. It could make on-hit Udyr playable again. Like, I could unironically see myself going Dusk and Dawn into Nashor's, into Lichbane, not Lichbane, sorry, into Nash's Tooth, like this item build, and go into the jungle, play AP Udyr on-hit. This could unironically work so well. It's awesome, it's awesome. But that's enough talking about this, I think. Did I write anything down? Udyr passive interaction, meta defining. Ability haste on Udyr. Oh, right. One thing I did write down about Dusk and Dawn is that it's very important for you to have lots of ability haste when playing with Dusk and Dawn. Because Dusk and Dawn has a 1.5 second cooldown, just like any other Spellblade effect. So if you want to, if we want to use this more efficiently, we need our cooldowns from our abilities to be as low as possible, so we can switch as often as possible, right? Because you have to think about this, alright? I'm sorry, I'm yapping a lot. It's really tough to explain. I'm not streaming enough lately, so words are kind of escaping me, but lock in here, right? Follow me. This is important, this is important, this is very important. When we do not have Dusk and Dawn, we need to use 2 attacks to activate both our on-hits after activating an ability. This is not a problem if we have long cooldowns, right? Unless the enemy runs away, but that is beside the point, right? If I have 6-second cooldown on my Phoenix anyway, it doesn't matter that I use 2 auto attacks to activate my Phoenix attacks, really. That doesn't matter. And it also doesn't matter then that I activate my Phoenix and all my abilities go on a 2-second cooldown, global cooldown that can also be reduced by ability haste, if I need to do 2 auto attacks anyway. Because by the time I did these 2 auto attacks, the abilities that went on 2-second cooldown are up again, right? But if you go Dusk and Dawn, you only need 1 auto attack to activate both of your on-hit effects. Both Phoenix splashes happened in 1 auto attack there. So there is no reason to stay in Phoenix anymore. Do you understand what I'm saying? Once I've used up my 2 on-hits from Phoenix, I want to switch. There's no reason to stay in Phoenix anymore. So you engage, right? Hit him with this, activate Phoenix, boom, and you instantly want to switch again, right? You constantly, it's like old Udyr. You get 1 auto attack with an on-hit effect, and then you switch, right? You don't get 2 anymore with this item. So you want more ability haste to play into this. The more ability haste you have, the more effective Dusk and Dawn is going to be on Udyr, which makes Nash's Tooth actually a perfect item, right? Not only does Nash's Tooth give you 15 ability haste, which is what we want ability haste, but it also has an on-hit effect that is buffed by Dusk and Dawn, right? We want on-hits, we want ability haste. Nash's Tooth is perfect. These 2 items are disgusting together. But outside of this, there's also other options, right? Any ability haste item really is gonna work, unless it's AD. You kind of want it to be AP or health, right? You can go Cosmic Drive, for instance. You can go Protoplasm, right? So just build something that gives you ability haste after building Dusk and Dawn, or take ability haste in your runes. Alright. that is the most important item for Udyr talked about. Like I said, it's going to be meta defining. I know this took up a lot of time, but now we can look into different items. What do you think of Hextech Gunblade? Well, funny you asked, Leo. That is the next item we're talking about, because that one I'm excited about. Hextech Gunblade is one of the items that Riot has brought back. This item used to be a thing, like what, 5 fucking years ago or something like that. It's, aside from Guns's Rageblade, this is the only true hybrid item, giving ability power and attack damage. And as with every hybrid item, just like with Sundered, Divine Sunderer back in the day, Udyr makes the best use out of it, because Udyr has AD scalings on his Q and AP scalings on his R and W, right? Udyr loves these mixed stats. He can use both of them, so he gets twice the value. If you look at something like Akali, yes, she has AD scalings a little bit, but not as good, and she doesn't auto-attack all that much, right? She won't make as much use of Hextech Gunblade as Udyr would. Now, Hextech Gunblade got nerfed a little. It's not as strong as it used to be back in the day. The active effect has a 60-second cooldown. It used to be 40 seconds, I think, back in the day. And the shock damage is still kind of the same. Pretty good, right? Considering it's a point and click, it's undodgeable for the enemy. 170 to 250 damage, plus scaling with 30% of your AP. It also slows the enemy by 25% for 1.5 seconds. Now, this is the interesting part. This is the interesting part, right? So let's imagine we chase an enemy and we're trying to catch him, right? Gunblade, with a pretty good range, might I add, now gives us a point and click slow to catch that enemy. Instant, right? It instantly hits the enemy. Like that. Just like that. The enemy is slowed. It's very similar to Smite, right? Once you finished your jungle quest, you can use Smite on the enemy, and your Smite slows them. But it's important to note that Smite, I believe, has a 15 or 20% slow. So it's a weaker slow than Gunblade, and it also deals a lot less damage, right? So Gunblade could be a great item to finish off an enemy, or to catch him in the first place, right? Run at the enemy, right? Activate Gunblade, point and click slow, then close the gap and beat his ass, right? Gunblade is, I think, an amazing item for jungle Udyr to help you with your ganks. But it could also be interesting on top lane Udyr if you like want to all in the enemy. Yeah, great item. There's not much to say about this. But it's a great item. I wonder if it triggers spell effects, actually. So if we buy Liandry's, and I use Hextech Gunblade. Wow, look at that! The enemy burns! So it triggers spell effects. That's interesting. That's something to keep in mind. It might actually... It probably triggers Dark Harvest, too. You could do some fun stuff with this, I believe. You could do some fun stuff with this. Alright, alright, alright. Yo, Nero, what's up? 2 times consumable on hit means 2 times the awakened CD goes down, yeah? Yeah, it always does. It always has. You don't get more CD than before, you just get it faster. I don't know how to explain it any better. Chidi, I'm sorry, man. You get it or you don't. Yo, Leonard, what's up? Doesn't awaken Q magic damage increase with AP, so it buffs your Q twice? Yeah, that is a fair point to bring up, yeah. If you build Dusk Dawn and you hit the enemy with Awaken Q, yes, the Awaken Q has an AP scaling. The max health physical damage of the lightning, it scales with AP. Yeah, you get a stronger lightning with this. Faster and stronger lightning. Like I said, this item is crazy on Udyr. Alright, did I write anything down for Gunblade? Yeah, it's interesting for hybrid Udyr, if you are somebody who's interested in playing hybrid Udyr. And yeah, that's it. Alright. Now an item that I'm very excited about. This is probably the item I'm most excited about. Don't get me wrong, Dusk Dawn is cool for like meta Udyr, right? But if I personally, you know, I'm a huge fan of support Udyr, right? So I love this. This Whispering Circlet. This is a new tier item. Riot added a new tier item for supports. Now what does it do? It gives us heal and shield power based on our max mana. Oh, that's fun. Because this item gives a shit ton of mana, we can combine this with Rod of Ages and God knows what, right? And we have a turtle that gives us also a pretty big shield. So this new support tier item actually buffs our heal and shield power from the turtle, right? This is awesome. But it gets better. Oh, it gets way better, guys. It gets so much better. When it transforms, when it's fully stacked and it transforms into the Diadem of Songs, it has the following effect. While you or an ally you have healed or shielded in the last 3 seconds is in combat. So in short, if I'm in combat,
Push through their defenses.
or an ally I healed is in combat, each second heal the lowest health nearby ally champion for, and then it scales with mana again, right? So you have we can heal again. Udyr finally has an item that allows him to consistently heal the enemy. This was not a thing before, right? Like 2 seasons ago it was a thing when Moonstone Renewer was still the old Moonstone Renewer, right? And then we played healing support Udyr. But when Moonstone Renewer got reworked, the only healing items you had on Udyr were Redemption, which has a 90-second cooldown, and Mikael's Blessing, which has a 120-second cooldown. There was no way to consistently heal the enemy. And therefore, you couldn't use any items that buff you and your ally when healing. So Staff of Flowing Water, for instance. Healing or shielding an ally grants you both 45 ability power for 6 seconds. Or Ardent Sensor, very interesting for Udyr. Right? It gives ability power, it gives heal and shield power, it gives fucking movement speed. And the effect, healing or shielding an ally, enhances you both for 6 seconds, granting 25% attack speed and 20 magic damage on hit. Sorry, I'm talking very fast, I'm very excited. This is exciting to me, okay? Because we can build these items now. If I have the Diadem of Songs, let me just get that real quick. I hope I can show this off. It might not work in the sandbox mode because for some stupid reason ally dummies are always full health, so I might not be able to heal this. Right, but if I hit this guy, I should be in combat with Diadem of Songs. Every second I now heal my ally for 11 health. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. Yeah, like I said, sandbox mode sucks. Usually this would heal him, right? Usually this would heal him. So, anyway, what this does is every second this heals your closest nearby ally. And that means every second, because Ardent Sensor and Staff of Flowing Water don't have a cooldown, these support items would be activated. So, for the entire fight, you would have 45 bonus ability power, or for the entire fight you have this bonus attack speed and bonus magic damage on hit, right? And if we get, okay guys, if we start crazy cooking, right, we could go Ardent Sensor, we could go Diadem of Songs, right, and then we could build the new Dusk and Dawn, which doubles all our on hits, which would then double the damage of our support on-hit item. Now you tell me another champion that will do that. This season we're cooking. This season we are cooking.
Unbreakable will.
Can Diadem heal yourself? I'm not sure, actually. Will you in combat with champion each second heal the lowest health nearby allied champion? The way it reads, it can't heal yourself. But we can try that out. So it should heal myself now, but I don't... Yeah, no, it doesn't. No, so it can't heal yourself. You said Moonstone Renewer might work with this. There's a problem with Moonstone Renewer though. See, Moonstone Renewer has the effect healing or shielding an ally, change the effect to another ally excluding yourself. So it wouldn't be yourself, it would be like a second ally, sorry. Healing 30% of the original amount. Now, Diadem of Songs heals very often, but it heals very little, right? And we gotta be realistic here, guys. We gotta be realistic. Diadem of Songs heals 11 health every second. What is 30% of 11, right? It's 3 point something. So Moonstone Renewer would make it so we heal one of our other allies for 3 health per second. It's not worth it, don't do it, right? You want to buy Diadem of Songs to activate a bunch of other healings effect. Yeah, this is actually a perfect transition into the next item I want to talk about. So it could, for instance, trigger the reworked Echoes of Helia. Riot reworked Echoes of Helia to now be, call me Ankh, right? But Athene's Unholy Grail. Anyone still remembers that item? Athene's Unholy Grail? Look, read this new effect. Gain 35% of pre-mitigation damage dealt to champions as soul charges up to 120, scaling with level up to 250, right? So you can collect between 80 and 250 charges, right? Healing or shielding an ally consumes all soul charges to restore 100% of that value as health. So if I have Echoes of Helia and I hit an enemy, right? And you can see the charges going up. 18, 20, 70, 80, 120. It stacks pretty fast. It stacks pretty goddamn fast. If I now heal an ally with Diadem of Songs, it will trigger Echoes of Helia and take all the charges, right? So this 11 health heal is gonna gain an additional 120 health heal. And you're gonna constantly trigger both of these the entire fight. I wish I could show you, but the sandbox mode from League of Legends is too shit. I can't show you, because ally dummies always have full health. But take my word for it, right? Both of these items would constantly trigger, the entire fight. So this is pretty interesting. This also allows us to build Echoes of Helia again. This is also an item that got so support coded and nerfed into the ground that Udyr couldn't activate or build the item anymore. This has changed now. So this new season is a very strong support Udyr enjoyer season, right? Echoes of Helia, playable again. We have this new support item called Diadem of Songs. We can activate Ardent Sensor and Staff of Flowing Water with it. Right? It's just good all around. The only downside here is they actually nerfed Redemption. They took the health away from Redemption. Sure, it gives 30 ability power now, but I don't give a fuck about that. The item is kind of too aggressive now. Be very careful if you build Redemption in the future now. It's still a great item, still huge synergies with Udyr. But be careful since it doesn't give health anymore, right? Right, 30 ability power is great and all, but usually you just build Redemption, and for the little bit of ability power, you always went Dark Seal. Gives 15 ability power, and if you get stacks on it, right, it has easily more ability power than Redemption. Yeah, Helia's back, Quitter. What's up, what's up? How does Dusk and Dawn Q-Burst look? Oh, it works. As anticipated, it works. So you activate it. Both lightnings. With just one auto attack, both lightnings. Kinda crazy. You need to time your Dusk and Dawn, right? Because you can't go in with E, activate your Dusk and Dawn, and then instantly go into Awaken Q, because Dusk and Dawn is not going to be ready then. So it's going to be a bit awkward, but it does work. You just need to time it right. Zahando. I see what you mean. It says healed or shield. How will you heal your allies to activate it? What are you talking about, Leo? We just talked about us being able to heal now with the new support item. Were you not here? You were here. You chatted before. I'm confused, bro. This. Diadem of Songs. Every second we're in combat, it heals a nearby ally. This gives Udyr the ability to constantly heal now. This is the biggest support Udyr item. Anyway, enough of that. On to the next item. Protoplasm Harness. Now, this is an item that's gonna get abused more by other champions than Udyr, but that's not saying Udyr can't play this either, right? Very cheap, for only 2,500, and it's very similar to Sterek's Gauge, right? Yeah, actually, let me do a little... Oh, you can actually not buy Sterek's Gauge if you buy Protoplasm. Okay, that makes sense, because they are way too similar. So, Sterek's Gauge, right, it gives you a big shield scaling with health when you are 30 health or lower, 30% health or lower. Protoplasm Harness has the effect that it gives you 200 health for 5 seconds and then heals you, scaling with your armor and magic resistance. God help us all when Kesante will build this, or Mundo. And while regenerating health, you gain 15% increased size, 10% movement speed, and 25% tenacity. So essentially, this is the get the fuck out or go even deeper in item, right? This is what this does, right? You get low on health, you gain a bunch of health and regeneration, and then movement speed and tenacity. This will allow you to either push through the hard CC of the enemy to catch the carry like you wanted, or if the enemy caught you, the tenacity and movement speed will allow you to escape. This is what this item will do. I think it's pretty interesting. For 2,500, it's very cheap, and it's another way to get some ability haste on Udyr. So if you feel like, man, the enemy has too much hard CC, I'm getting caught too easily, I need something to make me beefier, this could be a very good option. This could be a very, very good option. Also, very interesting, combining this item with Turtle could be fun, right? Imagine you're low on health and this item triggers. Boom, we get the bonus health regen. Boom, we put Turtle on top of that, right? Even more health regen. So we just gained 200 health, then we gained a 200 shield, and then the health regen from Awakened Turtle plus the health regen from Protoplasm Harness. It's kind of like having double Awakened Turtle, you know? You could also build Protoplasm Harness if you are like, man, in the fights I really want to use Awakened R, Awakened E, or Awakened Q. I don't want to play safe and use Awakened Turtle. Well, now you can just buy Awakened Turtle as an item. There you go, right? You don't have to use Awakened Turtle anymore. You can get your damage in, you can get your catch, right? Alright. The fact it's an HP only item kind of balances it. True. I mean, if it scaled with itself, that would be horrifying. It's good that this item has 0 fucking scaling. I think this might be the one thing that balances it. They might nerf the champions that build the item actually, because the item itself is not really the problem, is it? Okay, next item I'm very excited about is another support item. And oh my god, it only costs 2,000 gold, what a steal! Bandlepipes is not only a new item for support Udyr, but also for Aura Udyr, if you remember that one, right? 200 health, 15 ability haste, 20 armor, 20 magic resistance, pretty standard tank item, again, with a little ability haste on top. It feels like Riot added a lot of items with ability haste, which is great, because on Udyr you usually don't have any at all. You build Liandry's, you build Deadman's Plate, guess what? Both of these items have 0 ability haste. It feels awful, right? This is why I don't play meta Udyr. So, but the most interesting thing about this is the effect. Fanfare. Slowing or immobilizing an enemy. Grants Fanfare for 8 seconds. Fanfare grants you 20 movement speed, flat 20 movement speed. And while you have Fanfare, nearby allies, including yourself, gain 30% increased attack speed. So, what's interesting about this item is, it buffs yourself and it buffs your allies, but the allies don't need to be nearby for this item to trigger. There are some other support items that only trigger if your ally is close by. This is not one of them, right? So even if you are alone in a fight, this triggers, right? And it's a big fucking aura. My god, look at the size of this. Why doesn't it trigger again? Oh, it just doesn't show the aura. It's active, actually. It's active. But it doesn't show the aura. Hold on. It might be bugged. Okay, now it should show the aura again. Yeah, look at the size of this. Holy fuck. So yeah, every time you slow or immobilize an enemy, this item activates. Obviously, this is awesome on Udyr, because we engage the enemy with our E, and even if we don't stun the enemy, we're 100% using our Phoenix. We can perma slow the enemy. There is not ever going to be a time when Bandlepipes isn't active, because Bandlepipes has an 8-second duration. So even if we don't stun or slow the enemy for a while, we are definitely going to stun or slow them within 8 seconds again. So Bandlepipes is going to be active the entire team fight, giving yourself 20 movement speed and your allies 30% attack speed and yourself 30% attack speed. You might not want to build this item if you don't have a lot of allies that need attack speed, right? So look for what your team composition is like before building this. That being said, if you have an AD carry that likes attack speed, and you yourself want to play attack speed Udyr, that is worth it already, right? We get the attack speed and that AD carry gets the attack speed, right? But best case scenario, you also have like a top laner or mid laner that also wants some attack speed. Right, that would make the item even more worth. But despite all that, 2000 gold is a fucking steal, even for a support item. Look at these prices, right? Every other support item is like 2.2k gold. I don't know why Bandlepipe is the cheapest item ever, because the stats are insane, right? And slowing or immobilizing an enemy is not hard. If it would say only immobilizing, I'd get it. But slowing counts as well, and the item doesn't have a cooldown, right? I feel like for other supports it's not that hard to perma slow or stun the enemy either. I don't see Bandlepipes not being up ever, right? I think Riot thinks just because this has health, armor and magic resistance and no ability power that enchanter supports won't build it. It's just not true. They're thinking, oh, it's the engage support like Nautilus. He hooks in with Q, then roots with passive, and then ults, and then he has no hard CC up anymore, right? Because they use all at once. Or it's Braum, he jumps in, uses Q ult auto attack, and then his passive. But no, there's plenty supports that permanently hard CC and slow the enemy. Anyway, yeah, Bandlepipe, great item. Can only recommend on many Udyr item builds, we will cook with this. The John Deere cooks with this item. Hope so. I hope so. Potential Tarek item. I find attack speed on Tarek a bit controversial because his passive already gives him 50% attack speed. So you might not need more. You might not need more. Conga Udyr, third lost item. This would go hard for Conga Udyr. Dude, are you kidding me? The Bandlepipes cannot be missing in a party. You're going to a party, bro, with Conga Udyr? You gotta bring out the pipes. Hit him with them. Okay, this looked like I'm sucking dick. Don't clip that. Anyway. Did I write anything else down for Bandlepipes? Good stats. Rare tank. Oh yeah. It's a rare tank and attack speed item. We don't have a lot of those either. This item gives armor and magic resistance while also giving attack speed. So, this is interesting to keep in mind if you want to play a full attack speed Udyr. This could be great. Alright, but that's really it. Next item, Zeke's Convergence. But Udyr, Zeke's Convergence didn't come back, and it's not one of the new items. What are you talking about? Yes, Zeke's Convergence changed. The passive effect is still the same, I believe. But they added another effect to it. which now gives 15 ultimate haste. Just straight on top. I don't know why they did that. I don't know why. Because the supports that abuse Zeke's Convergence are way too strong already. In high elo, you see Rel every fucking game, and she rushes this item every fucking game. Alistar builds this as well, right? There's a lot of melee supports that play Zeke's Convergence. The only reason I could think of Riot buffing this is if they think that Enchanter supports right now are stronger than Engage supports. Otherwise, I don't see a reason for buffing this. Now, obviously, they wanted to put ultimate haste on this, so it's more in line with the other ultimate items, right? We have Malignance, the mage ultimate item, which gives ultimate haste. We have Hexdrinker, the bruiser ultimate item that gives ultimate haste. But the supports / tanks didn't have anything. Well, now they do. Zeke's Convergence, gain 15 ultimate haste. Obviously, this is fucking amazing for Udyr, because the ultimate haste works on our passive, meaning if we build Zeke's Convergence, we are going to have our awakened stance up more often, and that for a very cheap price. And also don't forget, I believe Riot still hasn't fixed the bug of the Zeke's double slow. So if you use Awakened R and the enemy is standing in your Phoenix slow and the Zeke slow, they're gonna get double slowed. It's not intended, it's a bug, and it's abusable. Have fun with it. I asked Riot many times to fix it. If they don't want to fix it, we're abusing it. We're gonna have fun with it.
Overwhelming force.
Now, next item on my list. Actualizer. This is an interesting one. This might be hard to build on Udyr, because it doesn't give any health, and it also gives us 300 mana, right? So this might not be something for jungle Udyr. The rule of thumb is, if you're playing Udyr in the jungle, you don't want to build a mana item, because you never need mana in the jungle. You have your blue buff, and you also have increased mana regeneration through your jungle item while you're in the jungle. You will also regenerate mana every time you clear a jungle camp. So there's mana, there's mana, there's mana, there's mana. You don't build mana in the jungle, it's that simple, right? But sometimes an item with mana is so worth it to build in the jungle, you do it anyway. Such was the case with Everfrost. Everfrost gave us a ranged root. Everfrost was amazing in the jungle despite the item giving mana. Actualizer, I'm not sure if it's the same case as Everfrost, but the active effect is definitely interesting. So, it reads as follows. For 8 seconds, your mana is empowered. While empowered, your spells cost 100% more mana. We do not give a fuck about the increased cost, okay? Our spells cost 36 mana. One of our spells costs 36 mana. We do not give a fuck about 100% pricier spells. For that, we then gain the effect 15% increased ability damage, shielding and healing, and your basic ability cooldowns progress 30% faster. So this pretty much puts you God mode. This is how you unlock avatar mode, right? So you activate the item, you go God mode, and when you then use your Phoenix, it deals bonus damage. You deal 16.5 actually with the item. 16.5% increased ability damage. This stacks up if you have more mana. This could be a super interesting item for top lane Udyr if you go Rod of Ages. Imagine you go Rod of Ages, right? Where is it? Rod of Ages gives you 500 mana. That pushes the 16.5 to 19% bonus ability damage. And Rod of Ages is gonna gain another... How much mana? How much mana does it gain? Stacks up 10 times, give you 30 mana. Wow, actually 300. Wow. So you gain another 300 mana from Rod of Ages, so that's another 1.5%. So Rod of Ages and Actualizer together will give you 20% increased ability damage whenever you activate Actualizer. So, but enough about where you would play this and what you would build with this. How do you actually use the item, right? So it reads that it gives you for just 8 seconds, bonus damage and bonus healing and shielding. What you want to do is essentially use this item right before, just before you use your Awakened, because that is where your most healing and shielding or your most damage is. So let's say you are low on health and you want an extra strong Awakened Turtle. You activate Actualizer, then the Awakened Turtle, and then the Awakened Turtle is gonna have a 16% stronger heal and shield. Same goes for Awakened Phoenix. You see an enemy out of position, right? And you think like, oh, I can hit this guy with the Phoenix Fadeaway. You activate Actualizer, then double tap the Awakened Phoenix, and voila, that Awakened Phoenix deals 52 bonus damage on every tick, right? How many ticks is that? Actually, we can do the math here. 0.5 seconds is every tick, right? We got 4 seconds, that's 8 ticks. 8 times 50. That's, don't say it, 400. So, Actualizer, just Actualizer, no other ability items, gives our Awakened Phoenix 400 more damage. And we also gain lower cooldown. So usually, let's check this actually. Usually our cooldowns are 6 seconds and 2 seconds global cooldown. If we use Actualizer and then use a spell, it's a 4-second cooldown, and our spells only have our global cooldown is only 1 second, roundabout. A little bit more, 1.5, 1.4, maybe. Could be an Udyr mid item, yeah. Cyborg Udyr, definitely. I'm seeing this 100% on Cyborg Udyr, absolutely. That is Cyborg Udyr going into overdrive. This item is beautiful. In an imaginative, lore-wise way, this item is beautiful. Malignance Actualizer, yes, Malignance Actualizer would work great together. Malignance gives you ability power and mana. Especially the mana is interesting because the 600 mana is gonna give you 3% bonus ability damage for the Actualizer. Awesome combo, right there. Only problem is if you go Malignance and Actualizer, that's 2 mana items and you have no health. So you 100% need to build 1 health item before that, and do not play this in the jungle. 1 mana item in the jungle is fine. 2 is griefing. 2 is griefing. Okay, we're nearing the 60-minute mark of a custom game, which means the game is automatically gonna close. So we need to restart our custom game. I'm gonna go grab a drink and then we can keep cooking, guys. Everyone who needs to go to the toilet or grab a snack, you do that now, because I'm gonna go now too. Okay. Why do I have black screen? Wait, my League of Legends crashed. What the fuck? Oh, did it kick me out of the PvE because there's like too many people going on there right now? That'd be a bit scary. What was my login credentials again? I forgot again. Was it this? Let it be this, please. No. Yes! Amen! Session expired? Oh, okay. Yo, Pancakes, what's up? Glad to have you lurking again. Rise is going to nuke people with this item. You know what? I'm happy for Rise mains. There's not enough love for Rise. And them having this item, Actualizer, kind of really reminds me of old... it kind of reminds me of the old Rise Ultimate, where he also had like a super mode. With more damage and like shorter cooldown, I believe. Guys, I'm getting kicked from the PvE. Yeah, we're going to go into the... I was going to talk about the tier change in a second, yeah. Please do not kick me out of the PvE again. I'm actually so excited talking about all these item changes.
Run them down.
PvE down? Shut up. I will manifest this PvE coming back up. Now! Now? Please? Is it really down? No, I see maintenance planned. But why the fuck would there be maintenance on the PvE? Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And for 2 hours? Okay. Okay, guys, this is fine, guys. This is fine. This is fine, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Guys, we will improvise. It's nicer to see this in-game, but it's okay. I've written everything down I wanted to talk about. It's fine. It's fine. We can just go onto the LOL wiki. It's fine. We don't need to be in-game. We don't need to be in-game. It's okay. It's okay. Whoops. Here we go. Alright, where were we? Where were we? Right. Tier. As you guys just brought up, the tier has also been changed. There is a new tier item, the tier support item, but also you can stack tier items again. This used to be a thing, then Asriel abused it. I don't know if you guys were around playing League of Legends when that happened, but there used to be a time where Asriel going Mana Muna and Archangel Staff was meta. This shit was meta for a while, because all the mana that Archangel Staff gave Mana Muna and therefore turned into attack damage, turned this guy into a fucking stat monster. These items also both provided ability haste, which made Asriel able to use his flash more often and being hard to catch. And even if you caught him, Archangel Staff gave you a big shield when you were low on health. And guess what? The shield is buffed by mana, so the Mana Muna mana would feed into that. Right? So both of these items like kind of infinitely fed into each other. It was a big problem, and Asriel was a problem. Who knows, we might actually see that build again. But what I'm more interested in is, what does this mean for Udyr? And also, what's up with the other tier items, right? How far can we push this? This is one of the first things I want to do when the new season hits. I want to do Mana Muna, Archangel Stuff, Winter's Approach, Udyr. All three of those. All three. Fuck it. All three of those. Maybe slap a Rod of Ages on top of that. Or the Diadem of Songs. Every tier item. Mana God Udyr. Can you imagine that? How fucking hard that would go? Mana God Udyr. Like you have all these fucking mana relics. You have Winter's Approach. You got your mana armor. You got your mana scepter. You got your mana sword. And you got the mana crown with the Diadem of Songs. Dude, it's like assembling Exodia. We will 100% do that when the new season rolls around. Sad, dear. Because of the tears? The king of tears. Cry, dear. Depresso, Udyr. There's a lot of names for the god. The god goes not by one name. But it's no matter what we call it. As Shakespeare said, it matters not what you call a rose, since it smells just as sweet. Doesn't matter what we call it, guys. Going for fucking tier items will be fucking hilarious regardless. It's gonna be awesome. Okay. That is the tier change talked about. Let's go next. Sundered Sky. Sundered Sky is super interesting, actually. Sundered Sky is super interesting. Guys, we need to talk about this. So, this is the current iteration of Sundered Sky. Gives 40 attack damage, 10 ability haste, 400 health, and you critically strike for 175% damage. Mind you, 175% is currently the actual crit chance, right? If you crit an enemy, it deals 175 damage. I can prove it. Just so we're all on the same boat, right? This is about to change. This is important. Guys, it's going to be on the test. Write that down. Write that down. Right? Look at this. Crit damage. 175%. So every champion who crits deals 175 damage of his usual auto attack. Sundered Sky does the same thing. 175. This is about to change. This is about to change. The new season will change crit damage to be 200% again. This used to be a thing back in the day, now it's back. Crit, in general, is stronger now. Crits deal 200% damage instead of 175% damage. Now, Sundered Sky, obviously, being a giga meta item already, every bruiser is building it on the top lane and the jungle. Everyone, right? They're all building it. It has to be nerfed, or at least tweaked. So what they're doing is, they gave it 5 more attack damage, but pretty much nerfed the rest. Also the heal stays the same. The heal is still fine, so if you want to play a sustain build, you can still build this, because the heal is not changing at all. But they did change the crit modifier. So here's what the change said. Critical strikes for 80% of normal crit damage. Now we gotta do some math here, because they worded that very differently. 80% of 200% crit damage is 160. So the new Sundered Sky will critically strike for 160 crit damage. So this is a nerf of a 15% damage. You all with me? Okay, so before it was 175%, crit in general is stronger now, but Sundered Sky actually got weaker because they nerfed the crit damage by 15, but they increased attack damage by 5, so it's still playable, and the heal stays the same as well, right? That's pretty interesting. I thought this was a pretty interesting change. Riot apparently likes to see Sundered Sky being played, but they don't want it to be too strong. With the crit changes they brought in, they were like, okay, we gotta tweak some stuff. Alright. Let's look into the next change. Essence Reaver. You know what? This is actually better doing this with LOL Wiki. Because we get to look at old items. So right now, Essence Reaver gives 60 attack damage, 15 ability haste, and 25% critical strike chance. And the basic attacks drain mana from the enemy, or at least they restore your own mana. They're changing Essence Reaver back to being a Sheen item. Yes, we are going to have crit Sheen again, which is going to be huge for crit Udyr enjoyers. If you now go Ascens Reaver and Infinity Edge with the new buffed 200% critical modifier damage, and you hit these guys with one Sheen Q and it crits, dead. Dead. You gotta scrape these guys off the floor. And they're dead. So it's gonna be fun. But the most fun thing is yet to come. Let's see if I can show you Ascens Reaver, maybe Spider X uploaded it. Spider X uploaded all the changes
Crush
on
any
Twitter.
barrier.
So here's what's going to happen to Ascens Reaver. Where is it? There it is. This is what's going to happen. After using an ability, your next attack deals base AD damage plus critical strike bonus physical damage. So the amount of damage this Sheen attack deals scales with your crit chance. The higher crit chance you have, the more damage the Sheen attack does. This is super creative from Riot. A crit scaling like that, that's super creative. So if you are just going to build 2 crit items, this item is not going to be as strong, but late game it's going to hit very hard. I actually have like 2 build ideas with this already that I really want to try. But yeah. That's it for Ascens Reaver. Next up, not too interesting, I wrote it down anyway for anyone who's interested in it. A Stormrazor spec. Aside from Gunblade, this is the second item that came back to League of Legends. Yeah, not much to say about this item. It gives attack damage, attack speed, critical strike chance. It's very expensive, but it has a charge on-hit attack that deals 100 bonus magic damage and gives you movement speed. So physical attackers are able to pick up some magic damage, and they also have more mobility in team fights. This is way too aggressive and way too expensive for Udyr. If you want to play crit Udyr, you would go Infinity Edge Ascens Reaver. Do not go Stormrazor. Absolutely do not go Stormrazor. Yeah, for anyone here watching that doesn't play Udyr, Stormrazor's back. If you're happy about this, great for you. I'm happy for you, man. Anyway, next crit item. Hexoptics C44. This item is kind of cooking. This is it. We gotta talk about this one a little longer, guys. So it gives 50 attack damage, 25% critical strike chance. So the stats are pretty weak, but it also only costs 2.8k gold, so you can't expect too many stats. What's interesting is the effect. Deal up to 10% increased damage with attacks based on how far away the enemy is. Max damage at 700 range. Now, let's do some math. If we get 10% increased damage at 700 range, that would mean we get 1% increased damage at 70 range. Correct? So if we look at Udyr, who has 125 range, if my math is correct, that would give us 1.7% bonus attack. 1.7% bonus damage. And if we then use our Q, which gives us 5 bonus range, that's another percent on top, because then we have 175 range, which is equal to round about 2.6%. So if we build this item and we use Q, we deal 2.5% more damage with our Q attacks. Is that worth it? I don't know. We will have to try it, but it's definitely interesting. And it's about to get very fucking funky with the second effect. Now listen to this. When a champion that you damaged within 3 seconds dies, gain 100 additional attack range for 6 seconds. You gain bonus attack range for 6 seconds. How much is 100 attack range? Wild, I hear you ask. Well, our basic attack range is 125, so gaining 100 is pretty much doubling Udyr's range, right? Or, to put it in other terms, your Q gives you 50 bonus range, so it's like having twice the Q bonus range. Now, if you play Udyr and you reach the enemy with your Qs in top lane, you know how that bonus range feels. That's pretty good. 50 bonus range is pretty good on a melee champion. We're not even talking about 100. So, this item could be very interesting to build on Udyr for a team fighting AD Udyr, right? Think about it like this, right? Imagine this scenario. You have this attack damage critical strike chance item. The rest of your item build also resolves around AD items. So for instance, you have Trinity Force, which gives you sheen and attack damage, some movement speed, right? You're going to be able to hit the enemy hard, but you also have like health bruiser items or armor items even that allow you to be tanky enough to stay in the fight, right? So you go in, you get a pick on the carry, and you kill that carry. You now gain a 100 bonus range for 6 seconds. For the rest of the fight, essentially, you now have this bonus range. So once you're done with that one carry you just caught, you activate your pair stance and you run to the next enemy and you catch them. And I'm telling you one thing, and you best believe it, bro. That enemy is not going to see that attack range coming. You will actually jump at people, like scoped weapons arena jump at people, with 100 additional range when you use your E. And if you actually use Awakened E, which is likely not going to happen, but Awakened E actually gives you another 75 bonus attack range. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. Udyr might be a ranged champion with this item. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna cook with this 100%. The item is so cheap. You can just throw it into any AD build as like a 3rd or 4th item. You get a little bit of crit chance, just like whatever. Cool, sometimes I crit, sometimes I don't. That's fun to have, you know? It's cool. You don't actually need to play full crit Udyr to build this, because none of these effects actually scale with crit chance at all. It has nothing to do with crit, despite being a crit item. Very strange, but good for us. Alright, that's it for Hexoptics. Next we go into Fiendhunter Bolts. Fiendhunter Bolts is another ultimate haste item. It gives 30 ultimate ability haste, so instantly kinda interesting for Udyr because we like ultimate haste, right? But then we see the stats, 40% attack speed, 25% critical strike chance. It's not really optimal. We don't really need attack speed at all. So what does the effect do? After casting your ultimate, so kind of like Hexdrinker and Zeke's, it activates after using your ultimate. Your next 3 basic attacks gain 50% attack speed and critically strike for 75% of your normal critical strike damage. So 75% of 200%, that's 150% crit damage. So 150% crits, or if your attack would already be a crit, you deal 10% bonus true damage instead. This can be interesting on Udyr. I'm not sure yet. We will need to do some testing on this. It's a bit awkward. Here's why, you know? So if you play Udyr and you run at the enemy, you stun them with E, then you activate your Awakened Q, right? This item will trigger, giving you 3 fast basic attacks. You hit the enemy with your 2 Awakened hits, and a 3rd one if you need it, and all 3 of those are gonna crit. This is gonna be a lot of fucking damage, and it's going to be very fast because of this bonus 50% attack speed, with the 40% bonus attack speed of this. It's like way too much attack speed. It's like Hail of Blades type of shit, right? So you're going to be able to very quickly use your Awaken Q on the enemy, and all of these auto attacks are gonna be crits. But it's only 150% strong crits, not 200% strong crits, and this item doesn't give you any attack damage at all. So Awaken Q might be stronger if you just build attack damage, lethality, or sheen items. We will have to do some damage testing on this. Either way, it's pretty interesting and also very cheap, so you might be able to cook with this item. This could be interesting, you know? Also, you could combine this with Hexdrinker and actually play an attack speed Udyr build. Yeah, you could go Hexdrinker and Fiendhunter. Both of these activate when you use your Awaken Q. Both of them give attack speed. This one gives crits, and Hexblade also gives movement speed. It could be pretty fun, actually. Get Hail and it's overkill. Yeah, Hail of Blades is 100% overkill. You would go press the attack with this. You would go press the attack with this. You do not need the Hail of Blades attack speed when you have 50% attack speed plus 40% attack speed. You do not need Hail of Blades. It's complete waste. You use Hail of Blades if you want to get out a combo very quickly when you have a lot of damage. So for instance, if I were to build a Sense Reaver Infinity Edge, I have a lot of damage, but I have no attack speed to actually apply that damage. Then I would go Hail of Blades. If I go Fiendhunter Bolts, I have a lot of attack speed, but I don't have any attack damage. So you would pick a rune that gives you damage. You know, you always want to balance it out. You don't want to go too hard on one thing, because at some point it's not worth it anymore. So you wouldn't go Hail of Blades on this, you would go press the attack or another damaging rune. Alright, yeah, Fiendhunter Bolts, pretty interesting. Let's go into the next item, that is Eternal Hunger. I'm pretty sure this item is gonna be game breaking. It's going to be too good on some champions. So, it gets 60 attack damage, 5% Omnivamp, and 20% Tenacity. Right off the bat, 5% Omnivamp is nothing. I wipe my ass with 5% Omnivamp. That being said, when you kill an enemy, it actually gives you 15% Omnivamp on top for 8 seconds. So if you start the team fight off with a kill, it's 20% Omnivamp, so that's pretty strong. That explains why it only has 5% Omnivamp as a base stat. I get 60 attack damage and 20 Tenacity. Now, this item giving Tenacity is a lot stronger than you might imagine it is, right? Because Eternal Hunger being an Omnivamp item and giving ability haste, right? Scaling with your AD. This is an item that every Drain tank is going to want to build. You have Red Form Kayn, you have Aatrox, you have maybe Viego, right? There's definitely a bunch of Bruiser Drain tanks that would look into building this item. And what Tenacity makes this item so strong is that the only way to stop... There's two ways to stop a Drain tank from healing. You either kill him or you stun him, right? If he's stunned, he can't hit you. If he can't hit you, he can't heal. But if he has 20% Tenacity, you can't stun that guy anymore. And that's a big fucking problem. That is actually a big fucking problem. So, for instance, you fight against Red Kayn, and you manage to land your bear stun on that guy, and your team sees the pick, so your Lux throws Q at him and roots him, right? So you're all trying to kill this Red Kayn before he can ult and heal to full. He's going to get out of that hard CC a lot faster and get his ult through. So any Drain tank who's going to build this is going to be a lot harder to kill. The only downside to this item is that it doesn't give any health. This item cannot be rushed, and it can't really be a core item. This item needs to be second, third, or fourth item. It's a situational item you build when you need the tenacity. But when you need the tenacity, my god, is that item good. What does it mean for Udyr though? Well, it's pretty interesting that it gives Omnivamp and not just Lifesteal or Spell Vamp, because this means all the damage we deal on Udyr heals us. So not just our auto attacks and not just our abilities, not just Phoenix and Bear Claw, but if we build Liandry's, for instance, I don't know why you would do that, but just as an example, if you build Liandry's Torment and this item, the burn from Liandry's Torment would actually trigger the Omnivamp and heal you. It's very similar to Riftmaker, right? So that's pretty interesting. And the fact that it has tenacity also makes it an option on Udyr. Now it could be that this Eternal Hunger item is an exclusive item to Steric's Gauge. So if you build Eternal Hunger, you can't build Steric's Gauge, and if you build Steric's Gauge, you can't build Eternal Hunger. That could be a thing, because they did the same thing with the Protoplasm Harness. You can't build that with Steric's Gauge. So they're separating the tenacity items. If that is the case, Steric's Gauge is definitely a better option for Udyr than Eternal Hunger. Eternal Hunger you could build on Udyr if you do a full lifesteal item build, or you are snowballing and you feel like you want Eternal Hunger because it's more aggressive than Steric's Gauge. Yeah, this is definitely playable on Udyr. If you play Drain Tank Udyr, I can highly recommend this. Because tenacity is even more important on Drain Tank Udyr than it is on other Drain Tanks. If you look at Aatrox, he can just cast his Q and E while he is getting hard CC to just buffer through the hard CC. Kayn can just cast his Q and his W while getting hard CC'd. He can buffer through it. Udyr doesn't have that. Udyr has auto attacks and that's it, right? So tenacity is way more valuable on him. He needs that more than others do. If you play a full lifesteal Udyr build, I would recommend building this as a late game item, 100%. Ooh, there's a bot. Let me get rid of that. Boop. Steric's Maw, Sarah's Shield Bow, and the new item, they all have the same path. Oh, it's a lifeline item. It's not about the tenacity. I thought they were separating the tenacity items. Okay, thank you for letting me know that. Okay, so you can actually combine this with Steric's if you wanted to for double tenacity. That would be a thing. Okay, it's interesting. Yeah, it makes sense that it's a lifeline item now that you said it. Okay, next up, we have probably one of the items that most people are excited for. Me personally, I'm scared. I'm scared of this item. Bastionbreaker. Very expensive, but very strong. 22 lethality is definitely on the upper end, and it doesn't just give lethality, it gives ability haste on top of that. So it's an absolute stat stick, and the passive is insane. The passive is just insane. So it has a 20-second cooldown. Dealing ability damage to a champion or epic monster deals an additional 30 plus 150% true damage based on your lethality. So 150% of 22 lethality would be 33. So you deal 30 plus another 33. Just having Bastionbreaker, this 20-second passive, deals about 60 damage. So it's kind of like having a strong Scorch rune in the lane phase. If you were an assassin in mid lane, like Zed or Talon, and you rush Bastionbreaker, every 20 seconds your poke is a little bit stronger, which is very worth it, right? But what's really scary is Sabotage. This thing has made it into a lot of videos already. People are rightfully upset about this item. Taking down a champion within 3 seconds of damaging them grants Sabotage for 90 seconds. While you have Sabotage, your next attack against an epic monster or turret deals an additional 300, that's just the base damage, plus 2500% lethality scaling, true damage over 3 seconds. So what this means essentially is, if you just have Bastionbreaker and you just killed a champion and you hit a turret, you hit that turret for like 700 damage. And if you have more lethality items, you literally deal thousands of damage with one auto attack to a turret. Thousands! This item is completely broken. And I'm scared. I'm very scared of assassins doing some bullshit with it. That being said, let's not focus on the bad. What does this mean for Udyr? Well, this could be very interesting to build on Jungle Udyr as a rush item. Here's why. The bonus damage of this item works on epic monsters, and the sabotage effect works on turrets as well as epic monsters. So let's say you just ganked the lane and you killed the enemy laner. Sabotage activates. You can then help your laner to push the turret and then hit that turret once and leave. And you get some insane bonus damage on that turret. Right? Other scenario. You are in the jungle, you have Bastionbreaker, and you just caught the enemy jungler. You are close to an objective such as Dragon or Herald or even Baron. You can now attack that objective and deal tons of true damage to that thing to rush it so fast that the enemy might not have a chance to react to it, right? So this could be very, very interesting on Jungle Udyr, on an aggressive Jungle Udyr. You could also build it on top lane Udyr if you want to play split push. I would, however, not suggest rushing this because it's very expensive and very aggressive. The jungle allows you to play a lot safer, which makes building aggressive items easier. Top lane, if you have no health, no defenses at all, and you can't finish your item quicker than the enemy, they're gonna all in you and stomp you to the ground, and you're never gonna like come back into the game. So Bastionbreaker is definitely not a first item rush on top lane Udyr, but you can get this as second or third item to like go all into the split push power fantasy. You could like, for instance, rush Trinity Force, or I don't know, some other health bruiser item, right? Rush a bruiser item, then go Bastionbreaker. Don't rush Bastionbreaker. Either way, this item is 100% seeing a nerf because this shit is way too broken. We'll see how strong it is afterwards, but as long as it still deals damage to turrets and dragons, it's always going to be fun. The gates are open. Yup. Open the fucking gates. Okay, what do we have next? Oh, I think that's it for items. Yeah, oh my god, wait, roll quest? General? Okay, yeah, the last thing I have on my list is the general changes. So, Riot removed Atakan, and they removed the Feats of War. I think this is good. Feats of War I actually had a lot of fun with. It was fun to play around them, and I liked the boot upgrades a lot. That being said, some boot upgrades were way stronger than others, and it kind of felt bad if you had like build out your boots and then you got the boot upgrade and then you're like, fuck, if I had known I would get the boot upgrade, I would have built different boots. So it kind of felt right? But it was pretty fun while it lasted. I'm not too sad, but it is what it is. What I'm happy about is that Atakan is gone. I'm not against new objectives, different objectives, right? But the way they handled it was kind of bad. The map is just too fucking tiny to put another objective into the game. If Riot wants to add a new objective, they need to do it like with the grubs. It needs to spawn in one of the pits. If it spawns somewhere else, it's going to be a balancing issue and it's going to have a negative effect on games. What I really disliked about Atakan is that it spawned like right beside Dragon 9 out of 10 times. Why? Because Atakan always spawns where most of the kills happen. Guess what? It's not gonna spawn on top lane because there's only 2 laners on top lane, and bot lane there's 4 people. There's always going to be more people dying on bot lane. And also, bot lane is like way more game deciding than any other role. At least for the past season. I don't know how this is going to change with the coming season. But bot lane was like the game decider every fucking game. So if your bot lane was winning, and they were perma-killing the enemy, and Atakan spawned there, well, guess what? The already winning bot lane is going to get the Atakan that spawned right beside them. That was no fun at all. And even if that wasn't the case, what really sucked, if is your team makes one mistake, you get wiped, and the enemy takes Dragon, and guess what's right beside the Dragon? Oh, it's Atakan. Dragon is so easy that they can just do Atakan right after that, and we're still dead. Right? It was not balanced. Now, if Atakan spawns near the Baron, it's a completely different story, right? Because top laners weren't as game deciding as bot laners, and you can't take Baron and Atakan afterwards, or Atakan and Baron afterwards. That takes too long, and you take too much damage doing it. But yeah, the way it was a problem. So luckily it's gone. I'm happy it's gone. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. This is the new season we are looking forward to. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. For what I feel like 2 seasons, Riot has done nothing, right? They've added Atakan and they changed like 2 runes. In 2 seasons. We had no new items, no nothing. But when the last 2 patches hit and they did like new tank junglers and buffing Sunfire and Barmies, I was like, hold up, they're cooking. They're getting goofy out here. Something is cooking. I can smell it, right? And then this new season hits like a bomb and League of Legends is finally back, bro. We got all these new items. 9 new items. 2 reworked items. And 2 returning items. We have so many options now. We got role quests. We're gonna be fucking cooking for days and days and days, guys. Yeah, I'm happy to say League of Legends is back, and so are we. The only problem is, up until New Year's Eve, I'm going to be very busy. Very, very busy. In 2 weeks, I have exams coming up. I need to pass my police school exams. I still haven't bought a Christmas gift for my mom. At New Year's Eve, I'm traveling with 2 friends of mine to Spain to spend New Year's Eve in Spain to visit a friend over there. So I have like no free time whatsoever. So there's likely not going to be any content from me until then. But New Year's Eve, we're coming back. We're coming back, baby. We're coming back. Yeah, I'm going to Barcelona in Spain. It's going to be fire. One of my close friends moved to Spain to work there. He found work in Spain. They wanted him for the work there, so he said fuck it. He left Germany and went over to Spain. And we're like, well, you're still our buddy, so we're gonna visit ya. Anyway, so I'm out for the day. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope you had fun cooking with me. My throat really hurts from all this yapping. I got way too excited over these items. But it finally feels so refreshing. I'm so there for this new season, man. So there. So, I'm gonna keep my outro shorter from here on out. Follow my Twitter, check out my YouTube. And if you like neither of this stuff, I'll just catch you back on my stream. Stay healthy, stay hydrated, and most important of all, stay safe. See ya. Bye bye.